This smaller 4K capable GoPro might be your sweet escape from expensive action cameras. Is it good enough? Let's inspect. This here is tiny and cute and super functional, and it's a GoPro action camera. Not their smallest, not their best one. It's not even unique given the form factor because it looks like a compressed GoPro Hero 13 Black. And I reluctantly started using it a couple of months ago and kind of got to enjoy using it really a lot. Therefore, I want to share with you everything positive and negative I've uncovered about the GoPro Hero 4K. Let's dive into it. Image quality comes first, and let's be honest here, it is not super impressive, but in no way it would disappoint. It is nowhere near the almost pro-grade levels of DJI Osmo Action 5 or the Hero 13 Black, but I'd say given the form factor, the price tag, the simplicity and the hardware, this is rather good. Sure, details are not as many as we want them to be, the distortions are often a little irritating, dynamic range is also just average, but hey, this is an action camera for people that won't care about ISO, shutter speed, frames per second and so on. You just point and shoot and are no longer concerned whether your $1,000 costing smartphone is gonna break while filming an action scene. 4K resolution up to 30p is present, which is more than enough for most people. The bitrate is 50-ish megabits per second, just about right for H.265 compression, and you can also get some sort of slow motion. And you have to parse the footage through the GoPro Quick app, otherwise it's gonna remain shaky. Obviously, out of all, the least impressive is the low-light performance, where 2024's GoPro Hero will likely fail to surprise you in the good way. Design and build quality are supposedly among the key strengths. Why? Well, for sure, not because it arrives in the same kind of package as the much more expensive and powerful Hero Black series. For sure, it is not related to the accessories count, because it is quite modest. You guessed it right, just like the Hero Black line. Definitely not due to the fact that there's an inbuilt battery, because for some folks this triggers the alert that there's an expiration date. But putting these aside, 86 grams with a battery included, very small, with solid construction, removable lens, and here's the already popular cute mounting fingers, which unlock the option to use many of the Blackline compatible accessories. Just a Type-C port for charging, and of course a micro SD slot, power on button and a shutter button. As simple as that. Learning curve is close to none, and you're not going to feel overwhelmed with settings at any point of time. I would like to share with you about one of my fears, because I very often borrow some equipment to friends or colleagues. For example, if we take the Hero 13, I have a very specific configuration about the shutter speed, about the ISO range. Everything is ready to attach an ND filter and get really the most out of the scene in a more, the boring name, cinematic way. Thing is that when people get the camera and if they get my settings, this is very often going to result into either overexposed or underexposed footage, or the colors are going to be very flushed out because it's all tuned for optimal setup for post-production. With this Hero 4K, this can never happen because this very action camera is designed for simplicity. Point and shoot. No resolution configuration, no shutter speed controls, ISO or whatsoever. Mindfulness. I really like that. Oh! Visual microphone test. Windy weather. The GoPro Hero 2024 in 4K. Any good? Now, want to know more about the hardware? Me too, but rather hard to say much about the most important, the processor and the exact image sensor, because GoPro keep this information vague, intentionally. We know about the fields of view, the maximum resolution supported, the battery capacity, the connectivity protocols, the camera is waterproof for up to 5-meter depth, supports voice controls, and again, is being partnered with GoPro Quick in order to be controlled from your smartphone. Quite obviously, I can't say much about how it ranks against the competition. It's clearly underperforming if we compare it to GoPro Hero 13 or Insta360's latest or DJI's latest and so on, because most likely the hardware inside is fairly outdated. And we can say that based on the dual-band Wi-Fi, which is just up to 5G, the fairly outdated Bluetooth support, which is just 5.2, and so on and so forth. In return, we agreed it's so simple to use. And of course, I'm going to tell you everything about the user interface because it's a very short story, and we're going to take the opportunity to also explore the display features. Expectedly somewhat smaller than most competitors, but still very responsive. It is a 1.76-inch LCD with digitizer, meaning that it has a touchscreen. Subjectively, I find it's more responsive to the touch than what I have with the Hero 12 Black, maybe even better than the Hero 13 Black. You can tune up and down the brightness. There is no automatic mode, though. Concerning the user interface and the navigation, it is quite similar to the Hero Black line, with the difference that it has less flavors. Swipe left or right to switch between the video, the photo and the slow motion modes. Swipe up in order to replay, swipe down for some of the preferences, and that's pretty much it. No Pro Tune settings, no shortcuts, no presets, no color adjustments. I don't feel that it can get any simpler than that. I think GoPro could improve some areas, though. For instance, having infinity scroll option between the modes, given that there are just 3, okay, 4 if we count the library access. Luckily, if you use the power button, it seems to have the feature on. Also, while you're recording, the front LED is gonna be on, and that's your only indication that the camera is doing something if you look at it from the front. The battery life is just average. About 1 hour if you're not using the display too often. This is acceptable, maybe even looks poor compared to the likes of Insta360 Ace Pro 2 and especially the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. Recharging is annoyingly slow for the standards of 2025, and sadly, once the battery degrades over time, it's not gonna be an easy task to get it replaced. The smartphone app, on the other hand, is spot on. It's the GoPro Quick app, a very powerful tool for quickly refining, stabilizing and exporting your footage, and I totally adore the option for cloud-based uploading of everything that is on the camera. The GoPro Cloud is working so well, and the convenience is unmatched. The obvious challenge would be for all of us that prefer to watch and edit these videos on a PC, because the app is only available for smartphones and it's the only official way to stabilize the footage. Luckily, the free-of-charge GyroFlow can help, because the files retain the gyroscopic information in the metadata, which is exactly what is needed by the software. But yet another extra task to be performed. There is no in-camera stabilization, either because of the weak processor or the desire to have greater battery life, or probably some sort of a combination of both. Should you need any accessories, the choices are not that many. Tripods and monopods, anything that works with the shoulders connector on Hero 12 and 13, maybe a few good aftermarket additions as well, but that's most of it. No external microphone, no mods, no real need for ND filters. So, given all of these facts and examples, I've had somewhat hard time composing the drawbacks list this time, because the philosophy of the more basic 2024 GoPro Hero is unique. The inbuilt battery belongs here for sure, so does the inability to have more advanced manual controls, the lack of Find My Device feature, the rather poor battery life, and the need for extra work about stabilizing the videos in post. After all, this is a sub-200 4K action camera, which is, in my opinion, targeted at people who are rather beginners. People who wouldn't care about ISO, about shutter speed, advanced videography skills, and so on. If you want to go the extra mile, then of course you can buy the GoPro Hero 13 Black. And I feel that GoPro very well connect the dots over here. Their broad experience about good, decent user experience, the excellent smartphone app, they are pushing you towards their cloud services and very smartly undercutting the price of the most commonly presented action cameras by other brands. So very well executed. On the other hand, at the time I'm making this review, the DJI Osmo Action 2 with a similar form factor is still available at pretty much the same price, and it offers vastly improved capacity about video recordings and significantly better image quality. The same we can state about the DJI Osmo Action 3, therefore you have to choose wisely. Simplicity or going the extra mile with a bit more advanced action camera. So which is your choice? Let me know in the comment section below the video. And thank you very much for watching this video till the end. If you enjoyed it thus far, give me a like, sub to the channel for more cool tech inspections and support me, please. You can give me a super thanks, you can become a channel member or use any of the links which are posted in the video description area. And I very much look forward to seeing you in the next episode. I'm the Tech Mishka, wish you a fantastic day. Bye.